Hello everybody and welcome to Hardspace Shipbreaker. My name is MrWoodenSheep and today we're taking a look at a game set in space where you are trying to get rid of your $1 billion debt to this company by doing some very honest work here, salvaging ship parts, and you want to try to be as efficient as possible, maximizing the amount that you'll be making. So you can see here we're actually going to start off with pulling off this antenna with our little grapple tool and throwing it into the barge. So different materials will actually require you to put them in different places. Actual objects, furniture, stuff like that that can be completely reused will be thrown into the barge to be placed on a new ship, I assume. Raw metals can be thrown into the furnace located over there and over there, indicated by the blazing flames. And you've also got the processor finally, where you can put other larger chunks of metal and yeah, what have you. So the game is incredibly relaxing, but also a little bit dangerous at times. So if we don't actually depressurize the cabin here safely, if I cut up the wall, it would depressurize in a very violent way and launch all the contents within the ship outwards, possibly blowing up a reactor in the process, possibly killing me in the process. You can see I've actually got an oxygen meter at the top of my HUD. And if I got launched into a wall really hard, it could crack open my helmet and I'd be losing oxygen very fast. So we'll go into that a little bit more later on. But we're gonna go into the airlock here. I'm really in love with the game. It's super chill, and you can tell from the little country soundtrack in the background. It's very relaxing to just float around and stuff. So okay, we are checking out this thing together for the first time. I've never seen a utility key before. Universal maintenance key used to control a variety of ship systems. Okay, that looks like it could be handy. We're gonna grab a repair kit in case my suit gets destroyed. You can purchase those from a terminal outside your home. I'll show you all of that in a bit. We're just gonna loot this really quick before we actually start getting to work. I see a med kit here. Nova fuel. I would love an oxygen canister so I don't actually have to fly all the way outside and refill that. I'm not seeing an oxygen canister. Those are usually green. That's a little bottle of fluid. Okay, that's fine. We'll just have to do that later. So I'm gonna go into my little special thermal X-ray vision mode. So what you want to do is figure out what you need to, the most efficient way to cut up everything. So let me start off with the cutter. So you can use the cutter to use either a focused beam like this to destroy connections. That's what these little yellow things are. You see it disappears after a while. Let me just do another one here. So this is how you dislodge heavier pieces of metal that you can't cut otherwise. You could also use it on this and use up a lot of fuel and eventually it'll destroy the panel. Or you can switch to this Dead Space-esque kind of a cutter and you can freely cut however you want. This is going to be super inefficient, but I'll do this for you guys. So you can actually cut it exactly how you want to and be as efficient or inefficient as you want to be. You can cut it up into 100 pieces or just one big old satisfying square. And we're going to finish it off like that. There you go. And now we've dislodged these pieces. They are free. We can get them with our grapple tool. Unfortunately, there is still another wall in the way. So what we're going to do is cut open the... Oh boy, what have I done? Alright. I promise this is the first time this has happened. Let's, what have I done? What happened? What the hell is this green smoke? Oh my god. Okay, things have gone wrong before in this game, but never this bad. So, that's what happens if you don't do things properly. Fortunately, in this future, your next of kin will be billed for unreturned equipment. Oh, what a lovely company we work for. Luckily, we do have cloning in this world. So we're right back at it. They will, of course, bill us for the cloning process. But, so, the unfortunate thing there is not that I died, but I did actually lose a lot of cargo that could have potentially been sold. What the hell did I blow up? It must have been that, I did see some sort of purple canister in there. I must have lasered something that just started an entirely huge chain reaction. Well, we did open up the side, so we can actually continue with our job here. So, let's just pretend nothing happened, yeah? That's the way professionals do it. So I'm gonna cut off this thing here. And now this should have dislodged this piece. Unfortunately, you can actually see... Oh, it's actually not that heavy. You can see in the top of my HUD, at the bottom of my HUD, but top part of it, there's a blue processor thing. So it's telling me that this material that I'm looking at, currently the actual outside of it, needs to go to the processor. Now you can also look here, oh look, this little lamp needs to go to the barge because it's obviously salvageable enough. So I'm actually going to pop that off because I want to be super efficient. And I need to make up for the explosion I just made. Gonna pop that in there. Okay, and we've got, this needs to go to the furnace. It's kind of like a raw metal. It's super heavy apparently actually, so we're, oh, because it's still attached there to that bit. Okay, well, yeah, you can see next to the processor on the right side we've got the weight. Now the bar is orange, so that means I can actually manipulate it with the grappler. It will not be that easy to manipulate, but we can move it around. I'm gonna try give a little push towards the furnace, or the processor, and we'll eventually get it in there. So there are actually a lot of lovely details in the game. So weight is one thing. If I try to grapple and manipulate something else that's a little bit heavier, I'll actually find myself being pulled towards it. So we're gonna send that in there, and it's being processed. So if I try to grab this, for example, and pull myself, well, if I try to push, then I'll push myself. And I'm gonna actually pull myself with the retractor beam. And there you go. Stop with my brakes. Wonderful. I see that there is a hatch here that I could have definitely entered from. Well, this. Look, let's just do this. Yeah, let's just pretend the side isn't completely torn off. And we're just gonna go like that, do that one like that, and then there you go. Boom. This can go to the barge. It is a perfectly reusable hatch. And toss it in there. Ooh, that's not great. Nope. I said, slow down. Not a huge country boy myself, but I love this music. It's super chill. And we put that in the barge. Okay, so now let me try and show you when things get a little bit more complex. For example, these nacelles are a little bit too heavy for me to manipulate. So I'm gonna rip this off. And is it detached? No, not quite. Let's just do it like this. It's a bit more efficient. Get a bit closer. There you go. Actually, this one's this is not that heavy, but let's pretend it is. Because normally these nacelles, the previous ship I worked on, they were actually connected to each other. So what you would want to do in a case where something is a bit too heavy is you can actually attach something called tethers. Super fun. You can attach it like this depending on the angle. You don't want it to break, obviously, if it's rotating a bit too much, and then it doesn't have, oh no, that's not the right tether that I'm looking for. Attach it like that, and it's going to basically make its way slowly towards the place that I want it to go, and I can release the tethers at any time, as I just did, and it floats into the position that I need it to. So you can actually do a lot more complex stuff. You can tether multiple things to each other to, for example, rip off multiple panels at once. So you can get really creative. We do only have a limited amount. Let me throw this in the furnace. In the top left, you can see I have 7 tethers left. At any point in time, I can go over there to that home icon, to the wrench actually, and purchase any oxygen, repair stuff, anything like that. Something that I really love is you can actually use your hands to grab things, so you can stop yourself from floating around, and you can even crawl around like this on a surface if you don't want to float around. And I think that's a super immersive and cool way to do it. I'll make sure not to, my friend. Okay, so this is a little bit sketchy. I'm gonna be careful here with this. What is this exactly? Coolant tank. Okay, so it's not gonna explode. Never mind, it will. I messed it up again. You can see my radio is malfunctioning. Let's make our way through this door. God, I've messed up everything. Oh, I'm not touching that. You can see it's actually electrified. Get away from me. Go into the furnace with you. There's some lovely music, though. Yeah, it reminds me of the post-apocalyptic future we might have, according to Fallout. Alright, we're gonna cut this up here, make my way into the cabin. So obviously if you want to be super efficient, you're not going to be cutting up just random pieces of everything, but just for the sake of the video here, I'm not being super efficient. So we're going to go into the cabin, float our way in, and you can see there's a bit of dangerous stuff here. So you can actually, right, that was why we exploded. I didn't depressurize the cabin, I completely forgot. I went in through the airlock, and what you're meant to do is come to an atmosphere regulator and depressurize the cabin. Right now it's unpressurized anyway, but that was what I was meant to do. And that's why everything exploded when I cut open the wall. I mean, I did it on purpose, guys, to show you the video. Alright, so we're gonna make this, let me just bring it out over here with my retractor. Thank you. So again, you can pull off, for example, little chairs, throw them in the barge, but what I want to show you before our shift is over is I want to come over here to the reactor. Now this is something that I really love in the game. Probably the most fun in my opinion. So what I'm gonna do is... my oxygen is critical. So this actually brings me to my main complaint of the game. I don't like all the limitations with oxygen timers and shift timers, tether numbers and all that, because I feel like it completely ruins the flow and just stops you from trying to experiment. So I'm gonna push this out of the way. So what you want to do with reactors Yeah, I don't care about my oxygen. So, reactors are obviously very dangerous. You can't pull them out simply with your grabber, but what you want to do is make as much space as possible before you pull it out, so you minimize the amount of time that it's in exposed space, and you can just throw it into the barge and make a lot of money without blowing up everything. Get in there. There you go, we did it. Last time I did that, it went very, very wrong. Alright, so we're gonna actually make our way over quickly to the oxygen tank. I have 10 seconds left. Luckily my character can hold his breath. This is just my oxygen supply. So yeah, this is my actually only main gripe with the game, is the process of slowly floating back here, and then I come here, I go, oxygen. Stop putting your hands in the way, dude, I can't read. And we're gonna buy some fuel for my thrusters. We can repair stuff here. And I understand it kind of plays into the whole career mode of the game. The career mode every day. I mean, we can actually show you in a little second. Let me just do a little bit last minute cutting. But every day you're going to be charged for. Unfortunately, the company you work for are a bunch of pricks, and you will be charged for the rental of your tools, your accommodation, the oxygen that you're using, all sorts of stuff. You're going to be charged every day, and there's a little bit of interest on top of your debt. So that's a lot of fun. And so what you want to, that's why exactly why every single day you want to maximize the amount of time you're working. And so I get that it's like they kind of try to make you work efficiently by adding timers, and you need to spend your own money to buy supplies. Let's wait, where is this going? This is going to the processor. I'm not going to be super efficient, just going to toss it in the processor. They want you to be careful with everything you're doing, and they want you to be fast. I get it. Unfortunately, I do think it breaks the flow most of the times, and doesn't really add much of a challenge, especially because you can actually upgrade your oxygen timers, the amount of tethers you can hold at once, and all that. You can upgrade all of that, which is good in the end that you can do that. Unfortunately, I did find it quite tedious until you get to that point. There you go, we've processed that. So, if the timer runs out when you're outside, nothing bad happens. It just teleports you to home immediately, but we're gonna go early. In the top right corner, by the way, you can see I've opened up my work order. That's ideally what the game wants you to do per job. If you come over here, enter your habitation unit, and we're gonna show you. So this is everything that I earned, and then down here is everything I destroyed. Ignore that, and you can see your overall charges right after this. So, yeah, I did still manage to make money, probably because of the reactor, but not much. And you come over here to your equipment, you can upgrade and repair all sorts of things. I'm gonna actually repair my cutter, don't want that to stop working out in the field. You can upgrade things with your tokens. Most of it is not that interesting, stuff like range increase, or or heat capacity, so it doesn't heat that fast, stuff like that. And then finally, the last upgrade is to purchase your very own cutter, so you don't actually have to spend a rental fee every single day. So yeah, that's the upgrades. It's kind of very simple, but it's a little bit of progression. I do appreciate it regardless. And then once you're done with that, you go to start shift, and you can change your ship that you want to be working on. There are different ship grades, which obviously will get harder, and they'll have more dangers within them, and more chances for you to blow yourself up. Or you can continue salvaging on a ship, because, you know, there's still loads of stuff worth salvaging on the one that I was currently working on, if you're not done with that. Unfortunately, after every shift, it doesn't seem to refill your oxygen or anything like that, so you are kind of forced to refill everything yourself, and it's just kind of another fee that you need to put onto yourself. Not something I'm a huge fan of. Fortunately, if you don't care much about a career, you can go to free play and just select a ship like that, and you have infinite tethers, infinite oxygen, all that stuff. So that is something I really do appreciate. I much prefer playing the game like this. Unfortunately, you do kind of lose a bit of the overall progression and the feeling that you get from the career mode, which it is fun. There are also audio logs to find in the career mode and stuff like that. So it is kind of sad to see. Also, I haven't gone that far into the game, but so far the ship varieties have been lacking. They're more or less the same, more or less. I'm sure it could possibly change the further I go into the game, but at the moment, yeah, it's a little bit lackluster. It is releasing in early access, so obviously things are subject to change and be added to, and it's expected to be added. But yeah, there you have it. That is Hardspace Shipbreaker. A lot of disaster in this video, but I hope you still kind of got a glimpse of what the game entails. And yeah, if you want to pick up the game, there's a link in the description to do so. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and thank you for watching. Let's end on a bang, shall we? Oh. Oh my god. At least I wasn't caught in the explosion this time.